what's up YouTube? It's Nick from Rise Up Sports and I'm back with another video. I'm very quick with this one today. This happened literally yesterday as I'm recording this, obviously because you're seeing it the day after Donovan Mitchell got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Big trade. This is massive for both teams. So as you can see here, I've pulled up the trade details. If you want me to make a more deep analysis video to this one, explaining like exactly what I think is going to happen for each of these teams, let me know in the comments below, but I'm just going to go through the details quickly for y'all today in today's video. So basically the Cavs traded a lot of players to get Donovan Mitchell, but the Cavs got Donovan Mitchell, just Donovan Mitchell. The Jazz got Colin Sexton, so he had to do a sign and trade, but basically Colin Sexton's getting a new deal. I think it's worth $72 million or something like that. The Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, who's a rookie. I think he's like the 14th pick this year, something like that. 3 first-round picks. They get also 2 pick swaps, which basically that means if your pick is closer to number 1 overall, then you can swap it for whatever pick you are. So if you have the higher pick, you are eligible to swap. So that's pretty cool, I guess. So my first analysis, let's go through the Jazz first, because I think it's easier to go through them. So they just traded Rudy Gobert as well and got a haul back from the Timberwolves in that deal. So they got a lot of young players. Didn't like do as good as I think they could have done, to be honest, but they got a ton of players and a ton of picks. Like the talent level of the players they got, it wasn't amazing or anything, but you have a ton of picks, and you have like Malik Beasley was kind of the biggest player to get traded in that deal, but they still got a ton of picks for Rudy Gobert. Now you get Colin Sexton. Okay, Colin Sexton was hurt a little bit last year. I forget what happened, but I think he had a pretty major injury. But he's a great player, great kind of shooting guard, and he'll be good for the Jazz. And then you have Lauri Markkanen, who kind of compared, I would say, kind of to Kristaps Porzingis, except he's kind of just a 7-footer who's a good shooter. He can shoot from the outside. Ochai Agbaji, who led Kansas to a national championship last year. I think he's going to be a really good player in the league. And then you get 3 first-round picks, just unprotected, and then 2 pick swaps, which, like I said, those are basically first-round picks. If you think, and the reason somebody would trade a pick, like put a pick swap on it, is because sometimes they would do nothing. Your picks would stay with the original team who wanted it because their pick is a better pick. And so what you're guessing is that you're going to be better, and the team who's getting the pick swap won't utilize it because that would be a worse deal for them. So that's what they're thinking. But so basically 5 first-round picks, and then you get 3 really good players. Sexton could be an all-star in a couple of years. I think Agbaji, could eventually be an all-star. Markkanen is just a really good player. And so really all around, the Jazz really did well in this trade. I think they got a lot. And between the Rudy Gobert trade and this trade, they got a ton of value and a ton of picks. They're going to be just like the Thunder have been. So I think the Jazz really did really well in this trade. But I feel like the Cavs did even better. They got Donovan Mitchell, like a top 15 player in the league. Like, this guy is really, really good. And for me, say what you want about his playoff success, Donovan Mitchell, I think on the right team, can be your leader on a championship level team. I just think the Jazz they weren't ever a championship level team, basically because of Rudy Gobert. And as talented as Rudy Gobert is, he's very, he's one-dimensional. Like, he can defend the rim and score at the rim, and that is it. He can't defend the perimeter at all. He can't shoot at all. Can't really shoot free throws either. So he's just very one-dimensional, but he's the best rim protector in the league, and one of the best rim protectors ever, because of how big and just how much space he takes up in the paint. But I think now Donovan Mitchell has a much better situation. You have Jarrett Allen, who, he's pretty similar to Rudy Gobert. He can't really do much other than protect the rim and dunk the ball. But then you have Evan Mobley, who you took last year, not this last draft, but the draft before that, who's the best big man in that draft and was in the running for Rookie of the Year last year. And, he has potential to be amazing. And so I think with that front court, and then you have Darius Garland, who's a great passer. He's a great point guard because he's not the world's greatest shooter or anything, but he is a great point guard to have. And then Don Mitchell can be your scoring guard. But then you have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. You have Isaac Okoro as well, who can, I think, eventually be that starting small forward. And you just have a lot of talent on that Cavs team. And I think this Cavs team, they're all very young still. Like Jared Allen is not that old. Like he's probably 26, maybe, I would guess. I'm not sure. Evan Mobley was a rookie last year. This is his third year this year. Donovan Mitchell is 25, 26. And then you have Darius Garland, who's probably 24. These guys are all super young. And I was talking about in the last video, I saw the Warriors video, how they have a super good young core. Well, this is a young core that's maybe better than the Warriors' young core. And they're in the East, which has typically been a worst conference to be in. And you'll have a better chance of making it further in the East than you would in the West normally. So for me, I mean, you always say the team that gets the best player wins the deal. And in this case, I think that's true because Donovan Mitchell, you don't see very many trades like this because you usually will see maybe an older superstar getting traded who's still really good. But you don't usually see a 25-year-old up and coming superstar get traded. Like that doesn't usually happen. And so for it to happen, the Cavs, I mean, to get away with Colin Sexton getting traded as a headliner, he wasn't really going to stay anyway. He wanted a contract and you weren't really willing to give it to him. And then you have, a question mark in Ochai Agbaji who you think is going to be a good player, but you don't know. Or Markkanen's like, yeah, you didn't want to get rid of him, but you already have a crowded front court anyway. And then you're giving up picks that you're guessing won't be super good picks because you're going to be really good. And those picks will be near the end of the first round. So really, if you're the Cavs, you didn't have to give away that much. Like the biggest like thing you hate giving up is Agbaji in this trade. But if you're going to be competing with Donovan Mitchell, I would rather have Donovan Mitchell now than Ochai Agbaji having 4 years to develop. So I think the Cavs like totally won this trade. The Jazz did really good too, though. If you look from the Jazz standpoint, they did super well in this trade too. I mean, you got so much young talent, so many picks. It's just going to be, 3, 4, 5 years until you're relevant again, probably. And so for Jazz fans, that's unfortunate. I know as a Rockets fan that it's very unfortunate when you kind of go into rebuild mode because you kind of know, okay, it's going to be fun to watch young guys play, but it also is painful because Utah Jazz has been in the playoffs for so long. They've always been there, and now it's like, now you got to wait like 3 or 4 years to get back. So that's my initial analysis for this. If you have any other comments, please let me know. But yeah, if you want more content like this, if big trades go down, I'm going to be right on it. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next Rise Up Sports.